And if I'm not mistaken, there is the numbers counting up. We are live. Good afternoon to all the co-founder club members and everybody else non-co-founder club members out there. This is the Startup Sales Mastery video podcast. Startup Sales Mastery, of course, is what finances the whole show. For basically everything. This is my gift to the startup community. My name is Keith. What do? I do sales for early stage startups. I've had a busy morning. I'll have a busy evening, and I'm having a few coffees. And I have not come so overly prepared. But I just had a quick look. Today is Financial Friday, and because this is campaign week, the fun week, today I'll be going through the financial end of things, which is basically, free campaigns versus paid campaigns. I'm going to go through some of my own statistics and ask me questions in the comments. So bottom line is this: what stage are you at in your startup? That's really how we answer which is worthwhile, paid or free, because we want to scale. Scaling is the key here, but you can't scale until you're actually have a machine, a pipeline that's active, that's up and running. I'm going to slow down if I've said that too fast for the non-native English speakers out there. This is the key to today's entire conversation. Pipeline active, working. Okay, this is the first thing you need. You need an active pipeline. An active pipeline in sales terminology is just customers coming in on some sort of regularity. Okay, so maybe you have, let's say, cold calls, because it's the easiest way for me to do it. Let's say I make 10 cold calls a day. Okay, 5 days a week. That's 50 calls in a week. And by doing that, maybe I do it 1 hour a day. 2 hours a day is more realistic for 10 calls. So 2 hours a day, 10 calls, 50 calls a week. And out of them, my hit's going to be, let's say, 1 in 10. So five customers are going to come in every single week. Okay. So I have an active pipeline of 5 customers per week based on 2 hours of cold calling every day. It's really important that you understand that. In the last couple of episodes, I went through all the different kinds of campaigns that you can do. Inbound, outbound. I went through all the different options, but pipeline doesn't really matter. Inbound, outbound, whatever is coming in a campaign. In marketing, it's it can be a pipeline. I believe they refer to it as a funnel more often than not. In sales, it's a pipeline. Okay, so pipeline active, customers, not leads, customers. Has to be customers, because if it's just leads and it's not customers, you're not making any money and you're going out of business. This should be done on primarily free basis. Now I can go through the paid and free and the reasons why and all the differences. Most early stage startups, we're talking about limited budgets. Okay, most startups that are a little bit up and running, SaaS, 400 or 500 customers, or even if it's high ticket B2B and you've only got 10 customers, you've got 10 customers in medium to high ticket B2B, you have a budget, you have income, revenue, so you actually have a budget to pump into your advertising. In early stage startups, if you've got 1 or 2 or no customers, you don't really have a budget. Now, most people look at me and they come to co-founder events and they say, I need funding to get, to build a sales team, to pump into advertising. It's like, how many customers do you have? Well, we haven't started yet. And I'm like, guys, come on, really? So if you're doing absolutely nothing, outbound campaigns are predominantly low cost. Cold calling. Again, I'm not going through the specifics because you can see that in yesterday's episodes. Events, turning up to events, going to conventions or places where people turn up to. These are all free fundamentally. Now, paying your way into a conference, there'll be an expense. Picking up the phone, maybe you buy virtual phone networks, or you're buying a CRM, system to keep track of all your leads. Yes, there's associated expenses. I get that. But I'm talking free in terms of there's no huge advertising spend that actually needs to go into the lead generation campaign. These are the campaigns that, as a new entrepreneur, is required. And I went through the reasons why they're required yesterday, because you need to know your customer, what they want to hear, how they want to hear it. And there's no way to actually predict that information without speaking directly to a couple hundred of them. And early stage startups that go straight into marketing and have really bad results, that's the reason why. You may think you're sending out the right message, but the results tell a true story. Now, lead generation, Facebook, for example, Google PPC, YouTube. I'm doing all of them right now. Some for myself, startupsalesmastery.com, and then some for some of my clients that I work with. Actually, wait, all of my clients except for one. So there's. I'm not saying don't do it. It's effective. With the lead generation, what I'm actually getting is warm traffic. I'm getting people who actually want to speak to me versus free, where it's just going out and hunting them. Return on investment. Again, this comes down to what type of product are you actually doing and what's the bang for the buck. I went through, I believe it was yesterday or maybe the day before, but opportunity cost, which is time. So time, if you're going for C-level people, yes, you can cold call, which technically is free. You've got to get their number. You can do that online, a couple of different ways of doing it, low cost. It's difficult, I'm not going to lie. If you are a startup founder without formal sales training, I would not recommend going straight for C-level corporate people, simply because without the sales training, they're going to eat you alive. I'm just calling it what it is. They will literally eat you alive. Any other type of person, I've mentioned before, as a startup founder, yes, pick up the phone, make calls, go for it, unless you're going for like the top of the top. If you have a product that really you have to go into the corporate C-levels, you might want to get a salesperson to make that first phone call to build up the introduction, and then have them book an appointment for a demonstration with you. That's still technically on the free side of things, except for you may have to hire or, call in a favor from a friend, but paying that money for that salesperson. So that's where the value, again, this is Financial Friday. Everything's based on financials, and this is the value of your specific advertisements. Spending money versus losing time. What is the cost of your time every day? Oh, well, it doesn't cost me anything to do it. I have the time available. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. But what are your living expenses today? Your rent, your food, all of this stuff. I can tell you with me, it's like a couple $100 a day. So I may have 2-3 hours available time to do work, but that doesn't change the fact that each day is, a couple $100, whether I like it or not. It costs me a couple $100 every single day. So if I can give someone, let's say, I don't know, $1,000 to pump out some adverts to pull in some customers, that by the end of the week, I can have an extra 2 customers that can potentially generate me, $5,000 straight off the boat. I've actually purchased, okay, a wonderful, wonderful investment, because those 3 days are going to cost about $1,500 to $2,000, but I'm only giving them $1,000, and then I'm getting in return tens of thousands of dollars if it's high enough ticket. So just because I have the time available, that doesn't change the fact that financially, it may not be the best use of that time. And that's why when I talk about free campaigns versus paid campaigns in yesterday and previous, I was speaking about the actual capacity to do them and the reasons why we do and don't. Whereas today is Financial Friday, and I'm going to stay true to the purpose of Financial Friday, which is purely looking at the finances and the viability in terms of costs, opportunity costs. Let's sum it. Do the mathematics yourself. Now, the beauty is that most founders out there, startup founders, you guys are technical. I'm more business as opposed to technical. So I'm trying to meet you guys in a language you can understand. Your mathematics are probably going to be better than mine, just because you have a few weeks of available time and you don't need to spend money hiring someone, and you don't need, and you think maybe, trust me, do the mathematics with the time that you're losing. It is so much more viable to work with people And when it comes to pumping money into advertising, only when you're ready to scale. Before you're ready to scale, I do not believe that it is worth it, because you want to go outbound at the beginning for your first X amount of customers to be sure what they want to hear. Again, this is my opinion as someone with 15, 20 years sales experience. I'm not saying you have to, it's just an opinion based on that experience. And I mean, how hard is it for you to, cold call or stand in front of a few people? I spoke with someone yesterday, GDPR. Um, Again, ring up a couple companies, stand in front of a few people. Do you have a system here? Are you hitting European countries? Do you realize the fines that you're going to get hit if you don't have? Would you take this for 1 month and see if it works well on your system? And if it does, we will have a call and we will talk about finishing stuff up. I mean, that I'm not even going through half of this. I'm just saying blunt. How hard is that to make 100, 200 phone calls? Okay, effectively effort. Yes, it's not free when we bring in the opportunity cost. But as opposed to putting all this advertising out there, I can just hit my customers directly. Okay, I've done my best to give all sides of the arguments. Now it's up to you to figure out what you think is the best way to do it. If you want to do it yourself, good luck. If you want to hire professionals, you can do that too. If you want to have freed or pump extra money into advertising, again, your call. And if you want to get in touch with me to run lead generation campaigns or direct sales campaigns, I do it and I have a whole team behind me that do it. My name is Keith. This is the Startup Sales Mastery video podcast. Go enjoy your weekend, and for the love of God, go make some money, have some fun, and go kill those campaigns. Good luck, take care, and I'll see you all next week.